Hello, welcome back to 1d8+1, the Leonal Orbs. This is Chad D. Brown type thing. Working with a concept of learning blocks, and in learning blocks, you're hoping to sculpt things that are, I don't want to say infinite type thing. Get a lot of that type thing. One of the things that we like to do, if you hang out with video game people type thing, is I'm not looking for something that gives a who's music or CSI type thing of time. Like, oh, I saved from 40 hours of work to like 36 and a half in a shake type thing. I only saved 4 hours. If you broke it down to 20 hours type thing, I would have been impressed, but you didn't. And that type of thing is pretty prevalent in game design. You want a little bit something a little bit more golden or infinite type thing. But the saving the shave that 4 hours type thing, much like a Metro Pass or something like that, was huge. And so in that type of sense, you want to do these things in order, or in spatial concept of actually working with your character and the ability to see what's going with your character or going with your business plan or going with your coding plan or going with your day-to-day calendar plan or disc plan or um, packing a suitcase plan. Anything is those types of natures type thing can all be set with a sort of formal project management blocking type thing in that type of sense. Just did one on blocking in 1d8+1, the Leonal Orbs, Sarah's Paladinic Decree, and blocking out the creatures, the angels, and their boost spells, and then the mana, produced a method of tying that together and making a full out buffering system, buffle system, as once quoted to me. So that's pretty awesome type thing in that type of sense. A can do. So in that type of thing, this was a can type thing in that type of sense, but it's not going to make it absolutely automatic type thing. But it might not make it absolute uninclusive either type thing. And that's one of the great things about framing something with an outline or a plan type thing. I mean, it's still going to be in between rounds. Still could take 20 rounds or 10 rounds or 17 rounds or something like that. People still needed cure lights and things of that nature. But you had more of an ideal in your head to inventory the cure lights and not be down a creek in that type of sense. So that is important. All there, some other people like I'm circular parry and I'm infinite attack type things, or your need of your buffles or buffering type thing or ability boost type thing in that type of sense. Without my glory being there, was me. Well, I guess with my glory being there was meaningless because I never run into complications. So another thing of that nature type thing. We're gonna go from simple learning blocks type thing, and then we're gonna try to apply them to the book in that type of sense. So first, we're going to start with the number line, and that is, but it has no numbers on it. So these are my dice of numbers here, and I'm going to go up to that type thing. And I'm going to put the 1 here, and then I'm going to go to the next number in order, and that's 2. And then I'm going to put the next number in order. That's 3. That's the next number. That's 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. And I use some d6 and 6-sided dice, 8-sided dice, and a 10-sided dice to make this here, and that's 9. Now, from that, that's a number line type thing in that type of sense. And so now we can use this for certain shapes or for a certain breakdown into from H2O to 2H plus 1 oxygen. So in that type of thing, we're going to do that, and understanding that can understand how we're inputting into a system type thing, what abilities we're putting in or not putting in type thing. So here we go to thing. Now we're going to go to a column and a row, and this is a tic-tac-toe grid. And from that type of thing, we're going to take the number line and we're going to count up the number of spaces that we have in the tic-tac-toe grid, which is a 3 by 3, 3 columns by 3 rows. So now I'm going to take the 1 off of here and I'm going to put it in the first spot there. And I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to take the 3 off the number line and I'm going to put that there. So now we've got 3 spaces on the top line type thing or in the first row. And now I'm going to go to the second row type thing. And that's 4 and that's 5 and that's 6. And from there type thing, that's 7 on the third row. And then that's 8 and then that's 9. So now that was on the 9 of our number line went into the tic-tac-toe grid, and 3 rows times 3 rows times 3 columns type thing in that type of sense made 9 spaces. So 3 by 3 type thing, or 9 spaces. It seems unfathomable type thing in that type of sense. And we can take these back here type thing in that type of sense. And now we can see that that is column 1, column 2, and column 3. Or that's row 1, and then row 2, and then that's row 3. See there? And then that's 3 by 3 spaces type thing, filling out the rest of them type thing in that type of sense, creating 3 times 3 is 9, or 3 squared. And in that type of thing, that's 9 spaces. And it's like, I just thought that was a notation, not literal in that type of sense. But it's literal. So now in that type of thing, we're going to go up here type thing. We're going to put these back. Much like acres or furlongs or a mile marker type thing. It's trying to guide you to understand what's coming up ahead. And how far or how long that could potentially take, depending on light speed. So in that type of thing, or other crazy calculations, hoverboat and motorcycles, things of that nature, I'm going to go to the book here. This is a player's handbook, and in that type of thing, that is page 235, and then here we're on page 279, and then we're on page 295, and that's 313 in the index, or those are actual definitions type thing, and that's here. And from there type thing, that's the index. And just in case you're looking for a certain word, and you're like, man, I didn't see it in the chapter type thing, and it didn't say, it said domains, but it didn't say like the error domain, page 185 error domain. And so you turn to page 185 type thing in that type of sense, and then boom, you're in page 185 type thing, and there's error domain right there on page 185. So it's a kind of a quicker search engine than maybe a table of contents might provide from time to time. Alright, now in that type of sense, that's a character sheet type thing. This character sheet type thing, that's the skills. In that's like your spell section, and your equipment section, and your armor section, and that's your weapon section, and that's your saves, and some of your background stuff. But we're going to focus on the abilities. And in abilities, it's got some boxes type thing, that type of sense. But wait, we've just been playing with boxes and numbering boxes. So I'm going to go back to the number line type thing, and I'm going to take that, I'm going to put this first box here, and I'm going to put a 1. And then I'm going to take that, and I can't remember that, when she was like, and then I'm going to put that, and I'm going to put it in a box, and I'm going to label it, and then we're going to move on to the next box. And then I'm just going to wrap up stuff and just go like it's there. So it's good. And then, so that's like no Key and Peele Luther type thing with Obama to yourself type thing in that type of sense. That could be neurotic. So in that type of sense, that's the first one, the second, the third, the fourth here type thing in that type of sense, the fifth number off a number line, and then the sixth one off the number line. So now we know we're going to fill up 6 spaces type thing. So now we take that in that type of sense, and we've got an STR type thing for strength, and so we're going to put that in there, an STR. And then from dexterity type thing in that type of sense is the second ability, and it's the next one down type thing, and we have filled in 2 spaces with strength and dexterity. And then the third one type thing in that type of sense, that's con. And so we're going to do that, and that's there type thing in that type of sense, and that's con. And then from 4, that's intelligence type thing in that type of sense, and that's intelligence, and that's right there too. And then 5 type thing, that's wisdom, and that's 5, and that's WIS, and that's also right there. That's 5 abilities. And in 6, that's charisma type thing in that type of sense. And we write that down. The cha of Sakura type thing. The cha of Sakura is the con of 3, which is the ability of intelligence, which you should always just spin out directly in that type of sense. But some things in that type of sense of mice and men type thing, or powered better type thing for their abilities through the other attributes within this list type thing, which no one believes. So in that type of sense, that's this ability along with your number line to the tic-tac-toe thing to numbering the boxes on the side and realizing now that there's 6 abilities. So in that type of thing, well, what if I want to use it for something else? Now, for that type of thing, I wanted to pick melee and range, the abilities that go into that at like the first level character. So you turn to book type thing, that's page 123, it's 137, and that's 135 type thing in that type of sense. And from there, you go to combat basics, battle grid, rounds, initiative, actions, attacks, attack roll, melee attack roll type thing. Well, I wrote down melee type thing on there with a claymore or sword type thing in that type of sense, a long sword. And from that, in the first row type thing, I wrote down what the law said of it, type thing in that type of sense. But that was like a sentence type thing in that type of thing, which so I'm going to go ahead and break that sentence down. So now that's a d20, a base attack bonus, and a string. Or returning these back to a number line type thing in that type of sense, that's 6, and then 5, and 4, and then 3, and then 2, and 1. I'm going to use our project management, it's kind of like these things are building blocks are part of work breakdown structuring type thing, or stakeholder analysis and things of that type of nature, or Gantt charts, or scatter bubble plot type things, things of labeling, categorization type thing, situation risk assessment charts or matrix. A lot of important ability to move the blocks around and understand what's going up and going down. So in that type of sense, we're going to return to the number line type thing. But if you can't put it there in that type of thing, and you're like, it's all things, then that might speed up or slow down a realistic operation. So now we're going to take the number line. We've got these boxes here. We took the wording phrase, melee attack roll, d20 plus base attack bonus plus strength modifier plus size modifier. But if you're human, it's the size modifier is medium, so it's neutral. But in that type of thing, I'm going to take the first and the number line here. I'm going to put that with under a d20 type thing. And we know one part of the melee attack roll is a d20. And then, so you've got to include a d20 type thing in there. And so then that's a base attack bonus type thing in that type of sense. And then plus your strength type thing in that type of means. So now, from there type thing, we go to the book type thing. I should do Rangers type thing in that type of sense, but I'll probably do Tordic in a fighter sense. That's a picture of Tordic in the player's handbook. And the character that they're trying to emulate or, imitate in the D&D, PHB, PSA, Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook Public Service Announcement. So in that type of thing, and they're treating it like a Far Side, like one of those joke calendar things, and saying what these characters, and there's Ragdar on the next page type thing, what these characters would say or feel or like, oh, it's tough, being in a book type thing and being miscategorized type thing in that type of sense. And they're like, oh, the cleric's going to take care of it? And they're like, really? Because I took care of it type thing. The fighter did. Thank you. And I've got more fighter levels than the fighter cleric guy does type thing in that type of sense, making me hardcore. So in that type of thing, that's exciting. But that's round one. That's one aspect, two aspects, and three aspects. And then in there type thing, I'm going to go from the, the beginning type thing in that type of sense. And the first block type thing, we needed a d20 type thing for our calculation. And then, so we're going to put a d20 in there. And then from there, type thing in that type of sense, we look at the book again for our base attack bonus type thing. And our base attack bonus was on the chart, and see it's got multiple numbers and it keeps building type thing there. But at the first level one, it's 1. So we're going to put in the number 1 here type thing in that type of sense. And then we got to look up our strength bonus, which is a 14 strength in that type of thing. It's still a first level character. So that's 14 strength. That's 14 to 15. That's plus 2 modifier that goes with that score. So we write down 2. Or plus 2 taking that type of sense, and plus 1. And then this was that first level type thing. We were in a base attack bonus at first. I didn't put a 1 up there. But anyway, that in that type of sense was a d20 plus your base attack bonus plus strength. Or in your first level attack is a d20 plus 1 plus 2, or a d20 plus 3. And now you have successfully created a melee attack roll. Now we do the same thing on our here type thing for a range weapon type thing. That's 1, and then that's 2, and then that's 3 abilities type thing, a d20 plus base attack bonus plus dexterity, and then that's a d20 type thing. And here your base attack bonus is going to be 1, but if you had a chance to pay for a 16 dexterity, that's a plus 3 in that type of sense on the chart. So then now your range shot type thing, like an Agincourt or Henry V type thing, is a d20 plus 1 plus 3, or a d20 plus 4. So then you roll a d20, you roll a 17, you add 4 to it, and that's 21. And so you hit armor class 21 at first level. Thanks for listening. This has been Chad Brown, 1d8+1 Leonal Orbs. Have a great one, and enjoy blocking.